It was overwhelming, but it's also exciting at the same time because this dream that I've had for so long finally came true. The things that I was telling myself when I won was to first breathe. There was a second where I kind of felt like I was going to pass out because I was just on such a high. And so I was telling myself, okay, well, now walk to the left and wave, and then walk to the right and wave, and then take the runway and then turn back around. So I was really going through the motions and the movements because it was just so surreal. And I think my body was in such shock that I had to kind of tell it what to do and direct it. So it was very much overwhelming. Well, my platform is HIV/AIDS Education and Resources, and that started when I was 17 back in 2007. My uncle passed away with complications to AIDS, and a month after, I started to volunteer at local AIDS life walks here within the Dallas area. And so my efforts started long before I was a part of the Miss America organization. And so when I became a part of the organization, naturally became my platform. And I focus on education and resources, number one, because I think education is the cure. And then resources because there are people who are living with HIV/AIDS that need access to medication and that need access to the proper medical care. I have a big obsession with older movies. My favorite, my absolute favorite, is West Side Story with Natalie Wood. And every night when I was in junior high, so that was 2 years, I would fall asleep to this movie. And I just absolutely loved it. It's actually one of my mom's favorite movies as well. But one of my favorite scenes is the scene after the rumble, and the shark gang, they're in a garage because they're trying to hide out from the police. And I love the song that they sing, which is Be Cool, because they're trying to get everybody to calm down after the brawl. And the choreography and the song is just brilliant. I wish I could do a scene. That's going to go on my bucket list, doing a scene from that movie for sure. I have not so great driving skills. I am absolutely terrified of driving. And before winning Miss Texas, I actually would use public transportation a lot. And I would take 2 trains to my university, Texas Women's University in Denton. So I didn't do too much driving, but once I became Miss Texas and I got an amazing car from Grubbs Infinity, which is a $40,000 car on top of that with 300 horsepower, which is crazy to me. I don't need a car that fast. I freaked out just a little bit. And the second week I was Miss Texas, I bumped my bumper just a little bit on another car. It was a huge truck, actually, and the truck was not scratched. Mine was just a tiny bit, but I freaked out. And I called Grubbs, and they were so great. And they said, sweetheart, Ivana, that's what a bumper's for. And so that was definitely a relief. And also, I've heard so many stories of former Miss Texases, and they have had not so great driving skills as well. So I've done a good job with my driving, and I'm really getting used to it with having so many appearances and driving around the Metroplex, so I don't even think about it anymore. I've been singing since the age of 10, and I was classically trained, and that's something that I have always loved and really enjoyed. But what I really love is to sing jazz in my spare time. I was heavily influenced by both of my grandparents, who were trumpet players, and they were heavily influenced during the Harlem Renaissance. And so I love to listen to artists such as Jane Mon Hyatt and Michael Bublé, which now are part of our modern times, but I really like to go back and listen to Ella Fitzgerald, who's one of the best scatters I've ever heard, Dizzy Gillespie, Duke Ellington, who also was a composer and did some amazing orchestra pieces with big bands as well. So really heavily influenced by that era, and I just think the music was fun and carefree. My journey within the Miss America organization would not have been possible if it wasn't for all the volunteers and family and friends that have helped me along the way. My mom is my number one supporter, and she was always coach, momager, she was everything, so I really wouldn't be here without her. But I also want to thank friends and family and the volunteers within this organization, because I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for them. They're the ones who keep this organization running, and that means so much to me.